Hi everybody. Today I am recording the video lesson method for day 5. I have prepared the PPT presentations and now teaching with the head of the PPTs. Today I wanted to discuss a lesson on the fact of safety. Today I wanted to discuss a lesson on the fact of safety, Poisson's ratio, linear strain, lateral strain, and millimeter strain. So for this, we require the prior knowledge of the stress strain and Young's modulus. The last process we discussed about the stress strain Young's modulus. The stress, we know that stress F is equal to load by area P by A. Strain E is equal to change in length by original length delta L by L, and Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. And on completion of this class, I will cover factor of safety, linear strain, lateral strain, Poisson's ratio, and the volumetric strain. So first we will study about the factor of safety. So we are having the different members made up of the different materials, and some kind of load is always acting on the members. So whenever we see the working stress of the material is always lower than the ultimate stress of that material, because due to the inhomogeneity, the non-uniformness in the structure, due to the force strength, sometimes even well below the ultimate stress, the material may fail. That means it will fail to take the load even well below the maximum stress point. Therefore, we should see that the members are always loaded well below the ultimate strength or the ultimate stress point of that material. So this precaution will take for the safe working of the materials. The ratio of the ultimate stress to the working stress is called as the factor of safety, and it is a ratio of the stress to stress. So it bears no units, and accordingly we can find out the working stress as ultimate stress by factor of safety. So it is a numerical value and its value will depends on the following factors: type of load, nature of materials, amount of deformation due to corrosion, the particle strength of the material. Here the first one is the type of load. If the load is static, the dead load, then we can prefer a lower factor safety value. But in some cases, the member may be loaded with impact loads or the cyclical loads, particle loads. In that case, a higher factor of safety is preferred for the safe working of the material. The next one is the nature of material. If the material is having the uniform structure throughout its volume or the length, then a lesser factor of safety is preferred. In some cases, if the material is not, the structure is poor and it is having some defects of low quality, then we need to go for the higher factor of safety. And also, next one is the amount of deformation to corrosion. If the member is subjected to the corrosion atmosphere, like in chemical industries and pharmaceutical industries, then an extra additional factor of safety is added to that member of the material to ensure the safe working of the material. The next one is the particle strength of the material. If the particle strength of the material is more, then less factor of safety is sufficient. And if the particle strength is less, then we have to give the more factor of safety of the material for its safe working in its operation. And it is only a number or a numerical value, and it will not have any units. Now we'll solve this problem. We will have to have an idea about the factor of safety. So now it is better to write down a mild steel rod is subjected to a pull of 100 kilonewtons if the ultimate tensile stress of mild steel is 400 newtons per square millimeters. Determine the necessary diameter of the rod. If the factor of safety is 4, here the a mild steel rod is subjected to a pull, and the ultimate stress is given. Then the factor of safety is given. We are supposed to find out the diameter of the rod. So in this case, firstly we have to find out the area. Then from that area, we can find out the diameter of the rod. So solution, firstly the given data. Axial pull, force P is equal to 100 kilonewtons, but is equal to 100 into 1000 newtons. Then ultimate stress Fu is equal to 400 newtons per square millimeters. So this way to convert into meters. So it comes to be 400 into 10 power 6 newtons per square meter, because 1 square meter is equal to 10 power 6 square millimeters. Now we know that the factor of safety is equal to ultimate stress by working stress. That is Fu by Fw. Therefore, the working stress is equal to Fu by factor of safety. So here 400 into 10 power 6 by 4, it gives 100 into 10 power 6 newtons per square meter. This is the working stress. Now we know that the working stress is equal to load by area, or the area is equal to load by stress. The load is given as 100 kN and the stress value is equal to 100 into 10 power 6. So it becomes 10 power minus 3 square meters. But here, in the given problem, they mention that it is a circular rod. Therefore, the cross-section area of the rod is equal to 5/4 into d square. So we have to equate this area, which is equal to 5/4 into d square, where d is the diameter of the rod. So ultimately, the d square value is equal to 1.273 into 10 power minus 3, or if you found the d value, that is equal to square root of 1.273 into 10 power minus 3, it is equal to 0.03568 meters. So that is nothing but the 35.68 millimeters. So the diameter of the rod is equal to 35.68 millimeters. Next, we'll have the linear strain. So whenever a body is subjected to some kind of forces, so generally the force is applied along the lengthwise, and if here what is happening is, whenever a body is loaded with some kind of loads, the dimensions of the body will change. So the length may increase or decrease depending on the nature of force. Similarly, if it is having a rectangular cross section, the width and thickness may increase or decrease depending on the direction and nature of the forces. So here we got two directions. So one is the direction along the direction of the applied force, along the force. So, and other is the perpendicular to the force. For example, we got a rectangular section, the width and thickness both are mutually perpendicular to the length. So the direction of the width and the direction of the thickness are the lateral directions, and they are called as the lateral dimensions, whereas the length is called as the linear dimension. So here what is happening is, whenever a body is strained within elastic limit, the length, width and thickness are changing. So the change will occur in the linear dimension and also in the lateral dimension. So the strain can be produced in the linear and lateral directions, and we can able to carry the strain along the linear direction and along the lateral direction. So the strain produced along the direction of the applied force is called as the linear strain, and it is also called as the longitudinal strain, and it is also called as the primary strain. And whereas that strain produced in the what is called lateral directions. So in case of the rectangular workpiece, the strain produced along the width and along the thickness, if the force applied along the length, is called as the lateral strain. And in case of the circular bar, the strain produced along the diameter is called as the lateral strain. So whenever a body is subjected to force, what happens if you see here, the length will change. So generally, if the body having a length L and a diameter D is subjected to a tensile force of P at both sides. So what is happening is the length increases from L to L plus delta L, because the delta L is the increase in length. And whereas if you see the diameter wise, the diameter is nothing but a lateral dimension to this applied force. And generally, if the length increases, the diameter will reduce. Here, what is happening is the diameter is reducing from D to D minus delta D, where delta D is the change in the decrease in diameter. So here we got the strains in both directions, linear directions, and also in case of the lateral directions. So the strain produced along the lengthwise is called as the along the lengthwise or along the application of the force, along the direction of the force is called as the linear strain. And whereas the strain produced in a perpendicular direction, that to that in a perpendicular direction to that of the applied force is called as the lateral strain. So here delta L is the original length and L is the original length, delta L is the change in length of the body. Then the linear strain is equal to the simple equation. We know that linear strain is equal to change in length by original length, that is equal to delta L by L. And lateral strain. So here also what is happening, whenever a body is subjected to some kind of loading, the change in lateral dimensions will occur, and the ratio of the change in lateral dimension by original lateral dimension. So that means the change in width by width, or change in thickness by thickness, or the change in diameter by diameter will give the lateral strain. So this is the example of a rectangular bar having a length L, width B, and thickness D. Here, what is happening is, when this body is subjected to some kind of loading, the all dimensions, that is length, width, and thickness will change, and the strains also produced in three dimensions, and ultimately the volume also will change. So what is happening is, initially it is having a volume of L B into D, and after the, due to the load, what is happening is the length is changing, width is changing, and thickness also changing. So if you multiply the new dimensions, the change in dimensions after applying a load, then that is the new volume. So the difference of the new volume and original volume will give the change in volume. So here the change in volume by original volume, that is delta V by V, is called as the volumetric strain. So it is nothing but the strain produced in volume. So nothing but the change in volume by original volume is called as the volumetric strain, and it is denoted by the letter EB. And in this case, because we got the dimensions in mutually three perpendicular directions like X, Y, and Z. So EV is equal to the component of a strain in X direction, that is lengthwise, and the EY, that is the component of the strain in Y direction, that is width, the strain of width, and Z, that is the component EZ, that is the component of the strain in thickness direction. So when we add all these strains, all these strains, the lengthwise, the length, the strain produced in the length direction, and in width direction, in thickness direction, then we'll get the total strain, that is called as the volumetric strain. Here EV is equal to EX plus EY plus EZ. Here all these strains may be positive or negative depending on the nature of applied forces. If the dimension increases due to the application of that load, then it is a positive strain. If the dimension reduces, then it produces a negative strain, and the algebraic sum of all these strains will give the volumetric strain. So this Elginus strain is called as the delta L by L. Lateral strain means either change in width by original width or change in diameter by original diameter. The next important term is called as the Poisson's ratio. So it is one of the important property of a material, and its value depending on the strains produced the materials. So as we know that whenever a body is subjected to some kind of forces, for example, you take the circular rod subjected to two equal and opposite tensile forces of a P magnitude. Here what is happening? It is having a length L and a diameter D. As a result of this force, the length will increase, the diameter will reduce. Here two kinds of strains will produce. One is called a linear strain along the length and the lateral strain along the diameter. So we should see that the lateral strain always bears a constant ratio with that of the linear strain produced in the material, and that ratio is called as the Poisson's ratio. It is denoted with the letter 1 by m or mu, and it is defined as the ratio of the lateral strain to the linear strain of a material when it is strained within the elastic limit. That is called as the Poisson's ratio. And the value of Poisson's ratio will vary from 0.25 to 0.33, and this value will depends on the nature of materials. And this volumetric strain also. So already we have studied the volumetric strain is nothing but the ratio of the change whenever a body is subjected to some kind of loads, the volume will change. Initial, so we got a final value and we got initial value. Then we can find out the change in volume. The ratio of the change in volume to the original volume of a body when the body is strained within elastic limit is called as the volumetric strain, and EV is equal to EX plus EY plus EZ. Okay. Next, we will have a problem on the stress, strain, and Poisson's ratio. So now, first of all, we will write down this problem. A mild steel rod of 3 meters long, having a diameter of 40 mm, is subjected to an axial pull of 100 kilonewtons. The change in diameter is found to be 0.003 millimeters if the modulus of velocity capital E for steel is 2 into 10 power 11 newtons per square meter. Find A stress, B strain, and C the Poisson's ratio. So here it is a very simple problem. Firstly, we have to find out the stress value, strain value, and linear strain, lateral strain, and because it is a circular rod, the diameters are given like that, and then we can find out the Poisson's ratio value. So solution, first the given data, the diameter of the rod is D is equal to 50 millimeters. Therefore, the cross section area becomes 5 by 4 into 50 square. It is equal to 1963.49 square millimeters. The length of the rod is equal to 3 meters, so it comes to be 3000 millimeters. Then axial pull, that is load P is equal to 80 kilonewtons. So that is equal to 80 into 1000 newtons. The change in diameter delta D is given as 0.003 millimeters. Young's modulus is given as 2 into 10 power 11 newtons per square meter. So we have to convert that square meter 2 square mm. So that is nothing because 1 square meter is equal to 10 power 6 square millimeters. So we have to divide this value with 10 power 6. So it comes to be 2 into 10 power 5 newtons per square millimeters. That is the Young's modulus value for the given steel. Then we can find out the stress value. As we know that the stress is equal, F is equal to force by area, P by A. So 80,000 by 1963.49, it comes to be 40.74 newtons per square millimeter. That is the stress value. Next, the linear strain. We know that the linear strain is equal to what? We know that Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. Therefore, strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus. So by substituting the values, we will get the strain value E is equal to 0.000203. So this is a linear strain that we got. Now the Poisson's ratio. So we know that Poisson's ratio is equal to lateral strain by linear strain. So here, so the linear dimension is length and the lateral dimension is diameter. So lateral strain means the change in diameter by original diameter. And linear strain means delta L, change in length by delta L by EL. So delta, the Poisson's ratio is equal to delta D by D by delta L by L. And delta L by L is nothing but the linear strain that we got to the value, and we also got the delta D value and D value. So by substituting those values, the Poisson's ratio is arrived as 1 by m is equal to 0.295. So this is the Poisson's ratio value for the given steel material. Next, we got the other problem. A hollow cast iron cylinder, 5 meters long, 400 mm outer diameter, and a thickness of 50 millimeters, is subjected to a central load on the top when standing straight. The stress produced is 80,000 kilonewtons per square meter. Assume Young's modulus for the cast iron as 1.5 into 10 power 11 newtons per square meter. Then we have to find magnitude of the load. Next, linear strain produced, and third one is the total decrease in length. Now we can go to solution, and if you see the given data, the outer diameter is given as 400 millimeters, that is also equal to 0.24 meters, and thickness is given as 50 millimeters, and length is given as 5 meters. Stress produced is given as 80,000 kN per square meter, that is nothing but the 80,000 into 10 power 3. It becomes 8 into 10 power 7 newtons per square meter. And Young's modulus is given as 1.5 into 10 power 11 newton per square meter. Here one thing we have to notice, it is the given is a hollow cylinder. So we got the inside diameter and outer diameter. The outer diameter is nothing but the what? Inside diameter plus 2 into thickness. Therefore, here the OD is given, thickness is given. So, inner diameter is equal to OD minus 2 into thickness. So, DI is equal to DO minus 2T. So, we're substituting the values. So, 400 minus 2 into 50. So, it becomes to 300 millimeters. That is nothing but the 0.3 meters. And to find out the magnitude of the road, we know that first of all we have to find out the area, because it is a hollow cylinder, and area is equal to 5 by 4 into dO square minus dI square. So we got the values of the dO and dI are 0.4 and 0.3, and substituting the values, we'll get the cross-sectional area is equal to 0.054 square meters. And we know that stress is equal to load by area, or load equal to stress into area. The stress value is given as 8 into 10 power 7, and A is equal to 0.054. So if you multiply it, you will get the P is equal to 4392,000 newtons. So that is nothing but the 4392 kilonewtons. Next, the linear strain. Here, the Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain, and therefore the strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus. So by we got the stress value and Young's modulus is given. If you substitute both in newtons per square meter, so E is equal to 5.33 into 10 power minus 4. That is the strain value. Now the next important thing is we have to find out the decrease in length. So as we know that the strain is equal to delta L by L. Therefore, delta L, that is decrease in length, is equal to E into L. E value we know, and L value is also 5 meters. So that comes to be 2.65 into 10 power minus 3 meters. So that is nothing but the 2.65 millimeters is the decrease in length of the this hollow cylindrical part. Now, in this class, we have studied about the factor of safety, linear strain, lateral strain, Poisson's ratio, and we also discussed about the volumetric strain. And here the one of the important thing is the factor of safety will depend on the nature of loading and type of material and other parameters. The Poisson's ratio is the nothing but the ratio of the lateral strain to the linear strain of a material when it is strained within a extremity. And this volumetric strain is the sum of the strains produced in all directions. Say X, Y, Z directions is called as the volumetric strain. That is nothing but the ratio of the change in volume to its original volume. That is EV is equal to delta V by V, and that is also equal to EX plus EY plus EZ. That is the algebraic sum of the strains in 3 directions. Now let us have a small quiz. Here, the first one is the value of Poisson's ratio is always the option 1 is less than 1, option B is more than 1, option C is 0, and option D is 1. So here, because the Poisson's ratio is the what? It is the ratio of the lateral strain to the linear strain. So whenever a body is strained within a extremity, always the lateral strain is lesser than that of the smaller than that of the linear strain. So therefore, always the Poisson's ratio will be less than 1. So the option 1 is the correct answer. And the next one is the Poisson's ratio is defined as the ratio between lateral strain to the linear strain, linear strain to the lateral strain, stress to strain, and other. So we know that the Poisson's ratio is the ratio of the lateral strain to the linear strain. The option 1 is the option A is the first option is the correct answer. Now these are the some of the important questions from the examination point of view. So you may be asked to define the what is define factor of safety, what is meant by linear strain, what is lateral strain, and what are the units for the Poisson's ratio, define volumetric strain. Like this, they may ask you to define some of the parameters that we have covered in today's lesson. Next, we also get a small assignment on the tensile test of a specimen, and by solving here what is happening is a steel bar is subjected to tensile test and some observations are made, and with this you are supposed to find out the required parameters, required quantities. The first one is the modulus of velocity, yield stress, percentage elongation, percentage reduction in cross-sectional area. So if you found this one, then you can become the familiar with the terms used in the tensile test of a specimen. So today we have covered the factor of safety, strains, Poisson's ratio, and also volumetric strain. So this is about today's lesson, and like this we'll continue to learn some of the other things pertaining to the simple stresses and strains in tomorrow's lesson. Thank you.